live already. Nice and simple. And if you're watching this anytime other than right now, it'll be the rerun. So let me just fire up my chat. Make sure it's all working. Looks like it's good. We're streaming. Yep, we are 100% on. Green light is good to go. All right. I've got the chat ready to go. So howdy guys. All right, so the first name that I always have trouble pronouncing came up first. So I'm gonna call you BD Guitars. So I don't make myself look even more stupid. We've got John. How are you, John? Joe Crow as well. How are you? I knew you'd be outside. I was outside earlier too today. It's a beautiful day. Greg, how are you, man? Thanks for joining in with just a quick impromptu live stream. I realized I hadn't really explained what was going on with it with my channel the last, I don't know, couple of weeks up until now. So I just had boxfuls of stuff turn up. So I thought I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up and what the plan is until Christmas time, at least anyway. So I'm doing well, thanks Mitch. How are you? Jason Moyle. Ah, Ken. There we go. Thanks, Ken. I'll call you Ken. Oh, got it. Easy to remember. 3 letters is I'm good with 3-letter names. All right, so you probably noticed I've been putting video content up every day for the last what's it been now? Maybe 3 weeks. And I thought I'd try that strategy just to sort of see what happened and what would happen with the channel and all that kind of stuff, and it's worked extremely well, which has been awesome too. I've been trying new things with the channel and new video type, you know, video content and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought I'd show you a little bit about what's coming up and what the plan is until Christmas time, or the end of the year at least anyway. So what I have planned, I think I've got enough stuff to pretty much do one video every day. So 11 PM Melbourne, Sydney time. I'll schedule them for. And any day that I don't post a video, I might do a live stream. So that might be once every other week or something like that. Or maybe once a week, something like this, I don't know. We'll see how we go. Basically there's been, you probably noticed I cut back on the pedal demos. One gets released every week. Now I have about 20 sitting here, so I may bump that up to 2 a week, possibly. Maybe still 1, we'll see how we go, but there's plenty of really cool stuff that's turned up. I think I'm gonna have like a few of the firsts for a lot of the stuff that's come out. And there's also gonna be some really cool stuff that's audio related, but won't be necessarily just guitar based. So it'll be microphone stuff, you know, I got a different mic I'm talking into right now. So stuff like that. I've picked up a few things and actually just had an email from a company who wanted to send me something that I thought would be awesome for the channel too. So there's pretty much something going up every day until Christmas, which is going to be, I've been really busy, but I work hard anyway. I'm used to it, and I hope the production and all that's still good. That said though, I actually had a huge problem with my hard drive the other day, and I shot a video that I thought I must have shot for an hour in hopes of using the footage, and the audio didn't work. So that's been fixed and it's been sorted out. So what I plan on doing is just showing you a little bit about what's coming up, so you can pick and choose the stuff that you think might be interesting. So I know not everyone will like all the videos I post, so just watch, you know, I guess whatever you think you'll enjoy the most. So all right, we've got plenty of guys here already. Aggyfish, how are you? Hey, Pixie, how are you, man? Steve, I was watching the video we shot together in Boston recently again, and you're going to be on the next Guitar Search Saturday, man. So stay tuned for that as we head through the guitar centers in Boston, in the Boston area. So yeah, I just had a couple of boxes of stuff turn up, and you know, the only reason I accepted these things, and I pay attention to the comments as well. A few people said now that the shop basically are giving me free run of demoing whatever I want, they were hoping I still would do the actual weird stuff that no one else does, and that's still what I plan on doing. That's kind of what I've done with the channel for a long time, is do the pedal demos that no one else knows about. So anyway, I'll show you a little bit about what's going on to start with, and you can, whether or not you get excited about any of this is totally up to you. But this is my 52 reissue Telecaster, and you can probably see it looks a little bit different right now. I have MJS pickups put in. So the plan was with this custom set that I got from the guys was to have the neck pickup kind of like a Strat. It's got a bit more of a voicey sort of sound, a bit more tops, a little bit less output, but that Stratty kind of sound. And I've got this wicked bridge pickup. It's the best bridge pickup I've played on a Tally, including the custom shop ones. So it's fun. I've just installed a treble bleed on here as well, so that video is coming up. And yeah, this is going to be wild. So is this on? Let's have a quick you're only hearing this through this microphone, but and that's not anywhere near loud enough. Let me know if you can hear this, all right? Anyway, that's just low volume sort of noodling, but yeah, they're pretty wild pickups, so stay tuned for that. I've had a set of MJS before. They weren't sort of tailored to my specs, so these are, I ordered this set and I got them within 2 weeks, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, I can't believe I'm back on the single coil thing, but the Telecaster that I got, that black one that I borrowed, totally spoiled me, so that was the plan, to get a similar or better tone. That's the idea. Jason says, I was hoping you would win the lotto and pull a trigger on that relic. The thing is, it would take me probably 3 months or more to pay that off. And that's not a commitment I'm ready for right now. Even though I get cost price on stuff, that's just not something that I can do right now anyway. We'll see how we go in a few months anyway. Maybe by the end of December, after the daily uploads, I'll be able to pull the trigger on it. Or it'll be sold. I'm pretty sure it'll be sold. It's a killer, man. It's such a great guitar. It is. It's the best Fender Tally I've ever played. In terms of tone. It really is great. And I've cut my finger, something shocking too. So if you see some Band-Aid demos coming up, that's why. Alright, so that's the Tally. New pickups, treble bleed, new pots. I put all Emerson parts in there because Emerson stuff's good. And yeah, so let me show you a little bit about what's coming up. I don't even know where to start, man. I'll start with this. This is called the Side Effects Il Mostro pedal. It's like a 3 gain or 3 clipping mode overdrive. It's really good. I'm gonna put this in my top 10 of the year already, so stay tuned for that. It's got this little devil looking thing on the front, or whatever he is, little creature. But yeah, it's pretty wild. So yeah, we got that. And then I'll show you some of the more generic stuff as well first. So I got these, which I gotta say amazing. The demo of this is coming up tonight. This is the organ pedal from Electro Harmonics. It's the C9 organ machine, it's called. And I got this one as well. So the camera's backwards on this one. I'm using a different camera, so I'm having trouble working out which way's which. But essentially, awesome fun, awesome fun. In Australia, they're about 400 bucks, so they're well overpriced. All right, so these turned up. And I haven't even opened these yet because I figured this might be fun. So I got these today from, were these the ones from Russia? They are. These are from Russia. They're called Analog Fox. So yeah, I got a box, or most of the range of these as well, which is crazy. Oh yeah, Pixie, you're gonna love that pedal, man. This is something you dig. You can do the classic rock thing and do the, got a bit more attitude than that as well. I think you'd love it. So yeah, let's have a look at these and see what they're like. I literally got these 15 minutes ago, both boxes. Actually, the other one turned up a bit earlier, but yeah. Is that gonna focus? It's going for my face. Essentially, yeah, they look pretty bare bones looking pedals, but they should be cool. So there's a range of them as well. I got the, that's the envelope filter. We've got a super fuzz, a tone machine. Let's find out what the tone machine is. That sounds great. There's a name for a YouTube channel. Tone machine. I like it. Check it out. I don't know if that's gonna focus, but yeah. I'm using my good camera, so it should. It seems to be locking on my face, but anyway. So that's an octave pedal of some description. We've got a lo-fi looper, and we've got a power solo underdrive. Alright, let's open one more and see what they're like. I won't bore you too much with this unboxing stuff. I don't normally do this on camera, but I just thought I'd share a little bit of this with you, so you can get the mojo flowing for some of the stuff that's coming up. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, I also got a pretty much a full range of mini pedals in as well, from a company called Sonic Cake. Here's 4 of them. So these are essentially, these are metal enclosures. These kind of remind me, at least the pots, of Donna stuff. You know, some of the Donna pedals have like these rubber things around the actual pots. That's the only similarity maybe, but these are heavy as. So I got like a looper, chorus, delay's actually really good. I filmed that one already, and a whole bunch of other stuff, which is cool. Quentin says 400 bucks. Yeah, I think they're around 400 bucks in Australia, which is insane. So, and not those, sorry, the electro-harmonic pedals that we're talking about. I think they're relatively inexpensive, around 60 bucks, those small ones. So I got a carton full of those things as well. I declined pedal demos or pedal companies on the most part for probably 3 or 4 months, because it was just like too overwhelming. But like I said, daily content until Christmas time, that's the plan. And I've been doing it for 3 weeks minus today. Oh, well, last night there wasn't a demo, there wasn't a video that went up at all. So this is one that I haven't opened, called the Lunar Stone True Drive. There we go. So this one, oh god, it comes with these things that fly everywhere when the fan's on. So these are bizarre. Like, look at this. I like this crazy stuff, man. Something a little bit different. I know Pixie actually demoed the Dan Electro stuff. Those are on their way somewhere. They've been lost in mail as well, but yeah, they'll get here eventually. So these are from Denmark, and that is all I remember about them because I can't recall the email. But there's basically the range of these as well. So that should be interesting. And actually, I'll show you this one, because they said, which ones do you want? And I saw this on the website and I thought, send me this. I don't even remember exactly what it is, but because what happens is I get emails and then I respond, and then 4 weeks goes by or 6 weeks goes by, and then they finally turn up. Wow, holy crap, check this out. It's a beast. Santa must have stopped by early. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think I got lucky when I picked up this deal on eBay with this mic and the amp and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this kind of looks like the Tribus drive in a way, except it's 2 overdrives and a boost. I'm hoping this ticks all the boxes. This looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of like all-in-ones when they work, and it looks like the boost is after the... Ah! Even better. Check it out. This is the huge problem that a lot of these pedals have. Some companies put the clean boost on either side, but you can't swap that. So if you like the same tone but louder, you'd want the boost post the effects, or vice versa if you want more preamp distortion. So this has a toggle switch. They got it right. Anyway, I haven't heard it yet, so I shouldn't get too excited, but that is from Lunar Stone as well in Denmark. It's pretty wild. So, beast. 9 volts as well, yep, cool. Alright, let me check the comments. You're going to need a bigger toy box. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, huh? Pedal building is fun, coming up with something new is harder. Yep, I've built some as well. You know what the hardest part of making pedals is? Sitting there like this. You wreck your back. Even putting the pickups in the other day. And I work out as well, my shoulders and neck wrecked. Watchman says, it's your fault, Shane. I went and got an ES335. Congrats. That's awesome. So, one fat strat cat says, too many knobs, I'm confused. Actually, this is really easy, man. Look at that. So, you got 1 volume control here, 1 gain control per channel, tone control, and a boost level. That's it. Easy. That's as simple as I think you can make a 3-in-1. And it looks like they got these industrial LEDs. Let's see how blindingly crazy they are. So, does it turn? Oh yeah. Oh man, check that out. Want to go blind? That's your. Is that working? These are super bright. We've got red, and I got studio lighting on in here too, so that's pretty crazy. All right, so there's plenty of effects. There's actually a couple of others as well, which are great. We got this from VS Audio as well. This is the new fuzz. I think Rabia, the guy with the big hair, he already demoed this, I'm pretty sure. But I had this for probably the last 2 weeks, but I just go in order of stuff. So this will be coming up really soon. 2-control fuzz pedal. And the theory is you just use your tone control on your guitar, which I don't even know if mine work anymore. I don't use them much. No, actually I just replaced them, so they should be good. So we've got Lucas from in the heart of Europe. How are you? Alright. The solder smells. Yeah, absolutely. Blinded by the light. Yeah, I had a feeling those LEDs were going to be pretty crazy. Alright, so that's pretty much in terms of the pedals, what's coming up. I'm going to do a new video on the PV Studio Pro that I picked up, which is right behind me here. I got that on eBay, for those who missed that video, for $150, $250 with a microphone and a recorder. I have a few other little videos I want to throw in just for fun as well. And one will be about that Boss recorder, because I think that'll be kind of funny. So yeah, I actually have 2 pedal boards on their way as well, and they've got an integrated power supply, so you don't need to basically get a secondary one or an external power supply. It's all built in, and I'm pretty sure you can just sort of feed the outs from the actual power supply that comes with it straight to the pedal. So that should be cool as well. What speaker is in the Fender amp? I've got a Eminence Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing speakers are awesome. It's the loudest speaker on the market. It has a Fendery, it still has the Fender tone, in my opinion. You won't need to dial in a whole lot of lows, because they do have quite a bit of bass. But the only thing you'll need to do is sort of compensate in the mids. You just turn the mids on your amp up, and beautiful. In the PVs, I use Texas Heat speakers from Eminence as well. Not in the Studio Pro. I'm going to leave that as it is. I had a chance to play that live the other night, and early on in the night it was plenty loud. Late in the night when everyone's ears were fried, it wasn't quite as loud as the Bandit, but it still sounds great. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. I don't want to use that for loud gigs anyway, but the Texas Heat speaker fattens the mids and rolls out some of the tops, which works great on solid state or modeling amps. I've used it in the Mustang 3 and probably something else. I've tried it in the Blues Deluxe as well. It's great. When are you going to review the Wampler Tumnus Deluxe pedal? I'm not. I haven't been, like, Brian hasn't contacted me about demos for a while. I don't know if it's just a shipping thing or he doesn't like what I do, whatever, but I don't really think that's something on my list I'm kind of chasing, to be honest. A Klon is designed to do something in particular. Once you start adding EQ controls and that to it, it kind of takes away from it in a way. You're turning it into something else, which is fine, but if you're buying a Klon, get one that just does what it does. That's why they're famous. I don't know, some of his pedals give you option paralysis. I kind of feel like maybe all those extra controls on a Klon aren't really that required because they sound good. I have the same exact speaker in my 6505. I like that a lot better than the stock. Oh man, yeah, awesome. Cool. That's, yeah, the Swamp Thing's awesome. Awesome speakers. I've had that in there now for, well, I've changed it once. I put the Texas Heat in there just as I was pulling apart. Actually, I was doing the insulation or whatever you call it, the RF shielding or whatever it is on there, the tape. I redid that recently. And while it was open, I thought, oh, I'll try the other speaker, and it sounded awesome. So both do a really good job. And it's funny to see you doing pedal demos too, Pixie. That's awesome. Yeah, so now I've got, I guess, 2 PV amps, which is a little bit odd. I have a couple of Actually, I'm not going to spoil those videos. They're coming up. I've already scheduled a couple, so I'll show you this as well. Ugh. I got a couple of like practice amp videos coming up as well. I haven't done anything with this yet. It's been sitting here for 2 weeks and I still haven't opened it, but it's an orange micro dark. I don't know, I've never really played an orange amp, so we'll see how this one sounds. It's got a 12AX7 and it's a solid state hybrid amp, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 20 watts, so we'll record that using this, which is the speaker that it comes with, I guess. So yeah, should be interesting. We'll see what they're like. A lot of people rave about these little practice amps, so I figure, yeah, we'll give them a go. The cool thing is too, starting as of, what day is it today? So in 2 days, I'm meeting up with Rick, and we're going to continue Tally Tuesday all the way through to Christmas. He's got a lot of Telecasters. So we've got, I think he's got 5. Ryan's got a few. I might redo mine at some point last or something. But yeah. Also, we're going to try and get our hands on the Japanese, new range of Japanese guitars that are at Sky Music as well. I don't think anyone's done any videos on them yet. It's a whole range. Jags, Tallys, Strats. So we'll see if we can grab one of each and do maybe a live stream video or something and show you what they're like, because they're really good. What else? Oh yeah, the Ryan and I will be doing videos every Monday. I did way too many videos all at once and I lost one of our camera angles, but you know, we had 2 other video cameras set up, so it should be fine. So we're going to continue that as well. But yeah, I got plenty of videos coming up. Obviously, there's plenty to film now as well, which is crazy. And if you have any requests for gear, just let me know as well. And I'll see if I can get it. They don't stock everything at that shop, but they stock lots of stuff. So I plan on also doing a few more tutorial videos, and one of them will be up tomorrow or the next day. Just, you know, little tips and tricks videos for installing stuff and all that. It is hotter than hell here at the moment. It is awesome. But my door just closed. All right. If anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. I won't make this stream too long tonight, but I just thought I'd jump on a weird time of the day and say hi and show you a little bit about what's coming up. So you can expect a few changes. Rick will definitely be back on the channel. We're also going to test out something that he bought, or 2 things that he bought actually, that I think might be good to get it sort of like an actual user's perspective on something, as opposed to, you know, just a regular demo. So there's a few things that are coming up that will bring, well, it would be great having Rick back on anyway. It's been way too long. I don't think he's done a video here since I've done the wall. It was while I was still doing all the green screen stuff. So we'll get him back on, yeah, hopefully in the next couple of days. Can I demo the S-drum pedal? I'll have to check that out. Digitech. Okay, cool. I'll see if they've got one. I'll check it out. I think I've got a number of, a whole lot of pedals here at the moment. I think the good news is I'll be getting sent a PRS SE, or I'll have access to one pretty soon. So that'll be cool. I like the Lefty. I know they've been out for a little while now, but that'll still be pretty cool. Keeley made a Klon style pedal. I think the Oxblood. I think everyone makes a Klon style pedal. There's plenty of great ones out there. Like the Archer Icon's a good one. There's just you know what, Kalen, right, or K-Line or Kayleen or however you want to pronounce it. They've just released one, like a budget Klon pedal, and it looks pretty cool. It's on their website. I haven't tested one, but they make pretty cool stuff. How do I rate the Tokai stuff? Great. I own 2. I got the Japanese ones. I got this one. This is my Les Paul Love Rock one, and my 335, which I absolutely love. I think these are great. It built like the 50s guitars, like the late 50s ones. It's got the big neck, which is great. It's heavy, but the 335 actually doesn't weigh much, which is good. And yeah, I put these, you know, I've owned Gibsons, I've owned custom shop Gibsons. When I bought my Gold Top, I thought that was the best guitar I ever played, and then I bought that, which was a third of the price. And if I was handed them blindfold, I wouldn't be able to actually physically tell the difference, other than obviously one had P90s and one had humbuckers. So the Japanese stuff's built extremely well. I've said that a million times, I love it. Can I do a review of the SL drive? You know what? I've got one of them. I got sent one of them like maybe 2 years ago. Put it in a cupboard where I don't normally leave stuff, and it's been there ever since. And I've also got the Brute drive as well. The mini one. I've got the Sir, whatever that purple Sir pedal is, the Riot maybe, is that what it's called? They've just been sitting there for, I have no idea why. I need to open that other cupboard up and see what I got, because it's shocking. Anyone thoughts on Burns guitars? I know Bernie, but I don't know Burns. Have I tried any of let's try that again. Have I tried any of the Strymon stuff? I don't think we've seen it on your channel. Rick did a demo of 2 of his pedals, a delay and like a tremolo or something, I think. So they're on here. But yeah, it's been years. He got them when they first came out. I think he still got them too. I think, and they were filmed at his place as well. I think pretty guerrilla style. Like they weren't the sort of videos you're used to probably seeing these days. All right, I was thinking about getting a Gold Top Les Paul with P90s and a Bigsby. Maybe I should go for the Tokai, but I can only afford the Chinese ones at my local shops. Check on the Facebook groups for secondhand gear. You know, it depends where you live, but you know, check out like Gumtree or Kijiji or Craigslist or whatever. See what you can find wherever you are, because that, you know, you can pick these things up secondhand. I did a video of like the top 5 guitars that don't hold their value. I put Tokai in there as well. I love Tokai guitars, but truth is, unless someone's really got their heart set on it and they're willing to pay, they generally won't. Jan says, hi Shane, been a fan / subscriber for a while now. Just wanted to say thanks for all the awesome content. Cheers from San Francisco Bay Area. Awesome, thanks for the nice words. I know San Fran extremely well. I've been there many times. I know my way around. Not as well as I would here, but San Fran's good fun. It's changing a bit over the years, but you know, the actual city there, I love it, and the whole wharf and all that's beautiful. Recommendations on a 335 style guitar under 1,000. Well, the Tokai stuff's good, but there's Epiphone, Eastman. You know, you could probably even squeeze in some of the higher end Epiphones, like maybe the Sheraton 2 would be an option. You can find other guitars from companies, I think like Hagstrom and that. You might even be able to pick them up secondhand, but if you want that classic sound, go for and just get an Epiphone. I think you'd be pretty much set. Even on the second-hand market, it's probably hard to find a good 335 for under $1,000 bucks, at least in Australia anyway. All right. So yeah, if you see Rick pop up on a couple of videos, you'll know that he's, you know, giving you a bit of a heads up. So it'd be great to have him back. We don't live too close to each other either, so he's kind of doing we're meeting tomorrow, not tomorrow, the next day. And we're going to pick up a whole lot of stuff, as well as whatever he wants to. We're going to do the Telecaster thing for the Tuesdays, and yeah, it should be good. He's got lots of great guitars. He's a little bit of a closet telly guy. Well, not that much of a closet telly guy, but he's got lots of ones you probably haven't seen before on the channel. So redoing a 1977 Hondo Strat, and the new Bridge USA is not as well made as the Hondo Bridge. You know, I don't know. I haven't had experience with that, but you could be right. I got the Epiphone 335 Pro for $333. That's a bargain. That's really good. I used to play Epiphone 335s, or the Dots, they're called, I think, for years, and they're a great guitar. So we've got Savvy here. How are you, man? Mitch says he's got a used Epiphone Les Paul Standard Pro. I'm very pleased. They're great. I shot a video for one recently, and it is really good. You know, I had a chance to also play the Gibson Les Paul Classic, I think it's called, Standard Classic, and there's not a whole lot of difference between that and that Epiphone in terms of feel. In terms of neck shape and all that, they feel identical, at least to me. The only difference really is the smell. Gibsons, you open them up and you go, they just smell good. All right, Joe. Thanksgiving. See, we don't do that here, so happy Thanksgiving, American friends. And North America, wherever else does it as well. So, I get a case for a hollow body guitar. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The good thing about the Tokai stuff, if you buy the Japanese guitars, they actually come with a hard case, and the hard cases look amazing. They've kind of like got that sort of paisley thing going on the case. It's embossed, so it's kind of like raised, and it looks great. Actually, there's one right over there. I'll show you. I don't know if this is nerdy enough for everyone or what, but I'm sure it will be. I don't know, I think that's going to focus. It might. But yeah, it's like, it's a pretty wild case. Every time someone sees this, they go, man, is that the Tokai case? I'm like, yeah, it absolutely is. So yeah, you can get a sense of, you know, the quality of these cases rock. Yeah, interesting stuff. Or something a little different anyway, in those cases. So I've got plenty of stuff coming up. Stay tuned all the way through to Christmas. There'll be videos going up. That's the plan. If I miss a day, it's because I've either slashed my finger open and I can't play, or I tried playing with a Band-Aid and it sucked. So I might have to just super glue that back together. I've got an Epiphone Sheraton as a gift, and I'm stuck with it forever. Awesome, beautiful guitars. Forgot to say, looking for a Lefty 335, so hard to find. Check out Jerry's Lefty Guitars. I think I demoed a few from his shop recently. They're not Gibson ones, but he's got, I think, Eastman and Heritage. Oh no, Heritage. What are they called? Yeah, maybe it is Heritage. I can't remember, but plenty there as well. Can I recommend a good distortion pedal for a 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue? Man, they're the pedal platform amp of all pedal platform amps. I would almost say anything will work well in that. If you've got a good starting tone, all I used for years on the channel was a Deluxe Reverb, because they're the best pedal amp you can buy with 6v6s, I reckon. So you probably, what was your question? A good distortion pedal. Man, there's millions of them out there. If you can't pull a good sound, and this is no offense, if you can't pull a good sound with any distortion pedal or decent distortion pedal going into a Deluxe Reverb, there's something else not right, because I could plug in almost anything from, you know, the Boss stuff, the Wampler stuff. It just doesn't matter, the VS Audio stuff, and it will all sound good. I mean, given it just depends on what sort of style of music you're playing too. These are these type of questions that you're better off just listening to stuff and seeing what you think of it. I mean, I used to use a full-tone plimsoll into a Deluxe Reverb, and I loved it. But that might not be what you're after. So just have a good look and listen and see what you can find. Buy Tokai from Canada, cheaper. What are my thoughts on the Fender 68 Custom Twin Reverb? Not sure if you've ever demoed that one. Too loud for home solo practice. They're 100 watts. You know, the two 12-inch speakers. There's a couple things I don't like about twins. They're loud and they're extremely heavy. I've owned one. I've owned a twin. When I bought it, the guy at the shop said, I don't want you coming back in a week returning this saying it's too heavy. And I lasted about 2 months. And then I went, you know what? This is way too heavy. Way too loud for a home practice amp. Twins don't sound very good at low volumes. Some of them have a half power switch on the back. And the other thing is, with the 68, you know, deluxe range or custom range, whatever you want to call it, they're not as reliable long term. There's a lot of white noise coming out of a lot of them. I've heard of tube sockets coming loose as well. I would go for a 65. That said though, the twins, I'm not a huge fan of twins, just in general. Like I said, I've owned them. I liked a Hot Rod DeVille better. I think it sounded smoother and nicer. The twins have a particular sound that some people really love. If you love that sort of hard, aggressive kind of clean tone, that's all it does. I don't think they sound as good recorded as what a DeVille does, in my opinion, either. I've worked in the studio with both. So if you love a twin sound and that's what you want, you know, go for it. But it's not a home practice amp. I would never buy a twin and use it for home use. 100 watts, you're never going to get the most out of that at all. All right, so Daniel, man, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's too cool. Cheers, man. Thanks for hanging around, and thanks for the donation too. Appreciate that. Have a good rest of the week. Watchman says, I love a Fender Twin Reverb, best amp ever. See, this is the subjective stuff. I'm only going by my experience owning one and comparing it to other amps. So I must have had 30 or 40 amps in the last, well, since I started playing, like giggable amps. I bought and sold a lot of stuff, not only just to do YouTube videos, but trying to find a particular sound, and the Twin was about as far from the sound I was looking for as what I could find. I've heard them cranked loud in a room with good guitar players, and I find them a little bit nasty. But if you're playing like country music and you want a big clean sound or something that requires no harmonic distortion or overtones through clipping, they're a great amp for that. But just be careful. They weigh a ton. If you buy one, buy a trolley and go to the gym. How do you tip? There's a little, I think there's a $ next to the emoticon thing, but you don't have to. It's, you know, it's totally cool. I'll answer as many questions as I can while I'm here. So, all right. So, Desert Island reverb pedal. No amp reverb. I would probably say, and this might surprise you, the Boss FRV1. It was a spring reverb modeled off an old school reverb tank that was in a box from Fender, like a 57. And I think that rocks. I'm yet to hear a spring reverb pedal that I like more, so I'd probably take that. It is DSP, but it rocks. Try find a better spring reverb than that. It can sound a little bit clangy. It's more of a surf kind of spring reverb, but it has a tone control, and if you wind it all the way to the left, it will sound like a deluxe reverb. I actually did a blind A/B test years ago between a deluxe reverb, actual reverb tank, and that pedal, and go have a listen. Just type it in blind test spring reverb versus pedal or something, and it should come up. But yeah, the FRV ones are really, really good. Marshall made the Marshall off a Fender circuit. Yeah, absolutely. What's your opinion on the Fender Mustang GT series of amps? I think the shortcomings of them are pretty well known now. The small one sounds extremely boxy, but if you just want a home practice amp, it'll do the trick. I actually did a demo of one, which I haven't cut up yet. I'm not sure I really want to release it. It just didn't really cover any new ground. It was just like, what's my opinions on it? It's all right for home use. The GT200 doesn't sound great in a live context, whereas the old Mustang 4 sounded awesome. That's the comparative size one, you know, so 212s or whatever. It supposedly now sounds better since the firmware got upgraded, but I haven't had a chance to try that live. And my friend Rick's got one, so maybe we'll bring it over and have a play. Rory says, just woke up in UK and found that you were streaming. I finally not missed one this time. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's like a random time of the day. My watch has just stopped working too, so new battery time for that. Yeah, well, thanks for joining in. I'm glad I managed to catch you at a different time of the day. I usually go for the mornings, but it's 6:35 p.m. here. All right, howdy Shane. This is from T-Boy. Says, what's my thoughts on the Blue guitar amp? If you play a humbucker guitar, it's amazing. If you play rock, classic rock, or even something heavier than that, great amps. I think they sound really good. The only shortcoming of them is with single coils, I found them way too sizzly sounding. Like there's this high frequency, much like the OCD pedal from Full Tone. You can't kind of dial out this top end that comes through. Even with the side controls, it didn't seem to do much to dial that out. I had the tone control all the way off, and it was still there's like an 8K frequency or something coming through that you just can't get rid of. But it works great for humbuckers. So overall, in terms of size, I think it's good. I covered it in my review of it. The only other thing that might turn people off is if they're, say, singing and playing direct or something, the fan noise can be pretty loud. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. I don't know if I'd buy one just to have at home, but if I ever hurt my back again, which hopefully I don't, I'm not forced to downsize, it might be a really good option. Having 100 watts is also pretty cool too. Especially in a pack that's like this big. That's the good thing. What does your PV Bandit weigh? You know what, I'm not too sure. I can't remember the exact specs, but I can tell you that the Studio Pro's over a third lighter, so it's a whole lot. It almost feels like the Studio Pro is the same weight as my Les Paul in its case, whereas the Bandit is way heavier. So the Bandit's give or take the same weight as a Fender Blues Deluxe. You can find the specs for all that stuff online. I do have the instructions actually somewhere. I don't know where they are, but yeah, you can find the PDFs online, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so Quino says, "Hey Shane, what do you think about the Vox AC15 as I'm about to pull the trigger on it paired with my Squier Classic Vibe?" That's an awesome combination. Tally and Vox, you can't go wrong. I gigged exclusively for 5 years with a Vox AC15 and a 30, and they work great with a Telecaster. That's a really great combination. My suggestion for an overdrive, if you choose to throw one in there, get a Tube Screamer. Bog standard Tube Screamer or a Tube Screamer clone. The thing about the Vox is they're all lows and highs. There's not a lot of mids. I see a lot of people review Voxes going, "Oh, it's got that raunchy mid-range." It doesn't at all. So get a pedal to fatten out that mids and you should be good. If you look at it on a graph, the Vox has this really big sweep in the mids, and they're like tops and bottoms. But you can get a really great sound out of a Vox AC15 or 30 without really using any pedals as well. But I think they thrive on just getting a boost in the mids. So yeah, good choice. I think that'll be a great combination. Volker from Germany says, "Good morning from Germany, just arrived at the office." Sad emoticon face. Sorry to hear that, man. I know the pain of that. I did it recently as well, and sitting in and getting to work in the morning, I was like, ugh. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Can you do some more funny pedal name videos? Yeah, I can actually. The thing is with that, it's those videos, I love doing them because they're really, really different. I just have to find more that I think will be entertaining, because the ones that I found on that previous video were nuts. Like, I can't believe some of those videos, some of those pedal names. And that's why I put that video together, was what I was trying to say. Felt the same way with the OCD, just didn't sound any good with my Strat. Yeah, see, that's one of those pedals that, like I said, they're great with humbuckers, but with a Strat or Tally, they're good, but they have this sizzle you can't dial out. And that's kind of how I felt about the Blug. And a friend of mine mentioned it actually to me, Rick. He said he tried one, and what put him off was he couldn't dial it out. And I said, "Oh, it's probably just your settings or something." And I had exactly the same issue with it as well. Joshua Ng finally made it to another live stream. What's up? How are you, man? Thanks for joining in. Second Marsh says, "Got to ask, are you in a house? Are you in a house, or do you have a really tolerant apartment neighbors?" So I'm lucky where I live. I'm in an apartment, but it's not too bad. It's bigger than it. And I don't have like people all around me either, which is good. I know exactly when the folks upstairs leave in the morning. I have all day to film, and I don't film anytime that there's someone around. I also use the 2 notes for a lot of my videos as well, because I've referenced my speaker. I can get away recording at a less loud volume. I wouldn't put it on people to enjoy. Oh, I wouldn't do that to people. It's just play loud guitar and demo pedals at full volume. It's impossible. Not good for my ears either. I did use that, and it's not good. So when I do the video for the Studio Pro 112, I'll just wait till I know they're gone and bang, I got all day. And like I said, there's not people at either side of me or anything like that either, so I'm kind of lucky like that. Can anyone tell me what Klon pedals do? So the original Klon, if you buy a Centaur, they basically send you broke. You'll need a huge credit card and you'll spend more money on one than you've ever spent. No. What they do is they boost a specific frequency that makes them extremely good for stacking into something else, whether you're using a drive channel or an off clean tone on your amp. Click the Klon on and it just pushes it over the edge, and it's got a transparent sound. Let's put that in quotations, even though transparent isn't exactly how I would classify them, but they almost feel like a clean boost with a bit of dirt, but they they take out a bit of low end, but that's kind of good when you start stacking stuff. So in terms of when you stack overdrives together, they can sound a bit mushy, but a Klon will make it sound better. If you put a Klon after another pedal, it's like the best volume boost you've ever heard. Or you won't like them at all. But you don't use a Klon on its own because they're terrible. Alright. Hey Jen, thanks so much. Small gratitude for fun and informative videos. Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, wow, cool. Thanks for the tip, I appreciate it. Like I said, I got plenty of videos coming up till Christmas. I'm gonna try and do daily videos and see how well that works out. But I stuck at it for 3 weeks now or so, and I reckon I've got enough stuff here and enough friends that I can get them involved as well, so it should be good. I really need to get someone in to help me with the editing. Alright, so Talon Floyd says, have you had any experience with the Dr. Z brand of amps? Personally, no, I haven't. I nearly pulled the trigger on a 30-watt one a while back. A friend of mine, Rick, actually has one. I'm pretty sure he's still got it. He buys and sells stuff all the time. He's got a 210 one. Let's just put it like this. It's an extremely hard-sounding amplifier, excuse me. I'm not going to say, it's kind of like a Vox, right? For all intents and purposes, it's like a Vox amplifier. But it has a less smooth sound. It's more like an aggressive, hard sound. A very dry, very in your face, and it's an acquired sort of sound. That said though, listen to Brad Paisley play them, and they sound amazing, but he's a ripping guitar player with probably the best chops I know. So Dr. Z amps I wouldn't buy one without playing them. Don't do that, because you might be pretty disappointed. They're very, very loud and very, very clean, and a hard sort of sound, at least the ones that I've tried, or had a chance to hear and try Rick's. I played it, I didn't enjoy it at all. I would prefer a Vox, just based on just having a bit of dirt and a signal from the top boost channel. But yeah, they're kind of like a smaller version of a twin, but with EL84s. That's kind of how they sound. I don't know. Anyway. I'm in an apartment myself. Thankfully, my Class 5 combo has a headphone jack. Yeah, that's an absolute necessity. I use a Bugera V5 Infinium amp on 0.1 watts when I jam out, or I've done what Pixie does now. I just plug into my sound card and I've got bias software. When I do the live streams occasionally on Facebook, that's all I'm playing through because it's just easy. What's a good pair of headphones for guitar at a reasonable price? That's a good question, actually. That's something I've never been asked, but I had a chance to actually picked up a set of Jam headphones, just JAM, like 60 bucks. I don't know if that you consider that cheap, but I do, because there's plenty of headphones out there that are hundreds of dollars. When I bought this Mac from Best Buy, it came with a free set of Dr. Dre Beats or whatever. I reckon the Jam headphones are just as good, and they were like 60 bucks, and they're Bluetooth, or you can plug a cable in, so that should do the job. I don't think there's a guitar specific headphones out there, but the Jam headphones are really good. Mojo Penguin says, I mean, dude, you need to review the Granny Puker from Big John Effects, a contender for the worst pedal names ever. I tell you what, guys, if you know any really crazy pedal names, or just you got some access, or you've seen something online that's just bizarre, send me an email at intheblues@outlook.com, or post in the comments once the stream's done. And yeah, I'll add it to a list and see if I can get a video done. That'd be great. I used to push an ear. Oh, EH Screaming Bird pedal. I don't know that one. Is that an EHX? Is that Electro Harmonics? So many pedals out there, man. I keep, you know, like I've said this a million times, you know, a child's born every second. Every 2 seconds, a pedal company's born, or a new pedal. So it's crazy. Pedal chain, 5 clones and a wah. You know what? I used to play. Actually, I didn't. Rick used to play 2 legit clones as his like actual pedal board, and I tried to use a clon. And what else did I have? I had like a couple of copies and a Shelly Ponyboy as well, but it wasn't my type of sound. One of those is enough. I tell you what. Actually, someone was asking about clones earlier, and the new Wampler one. Check out Shelly Effects from Florida. $90, you get a clon. It's awesome. It's got a toggle switch. You can shave out that high end or leave it in. It's a great pedal. Beats are some of the worst. I don't know. Like, I've had good experiences with the ones I got. They were, I think, the current generation ones, minus the color of them. I only had one color left, and I think I got the girl's color. But anyway, yeah. Oh, what do we got? So the White Zombie poster, have we done that already? Yeah. That was on the last giveaway from VS Audio. Gave away a Operation Trinity Distortion. So I'm a huge fan of old horror movies. That's actually a horror movie from the 1930s. And I just realized how much I'm sweating. Yeah, so that one's been done. The next giveaway will be somewhere between 80 and 90,000 subs. So in the next couple of, probably in a month or two, when I get to 80,000, we'll have a giveaway. I'm going to do 2. You know what? I'm going to do 2. I got all these pedals. I'm never going to use them all. I'm never going to get motivated to sell them all. It's easy for me to just give them away. So we might do a few more than just one giveaway a month. We'll see how we go. I know VS Audio like jumping on board with the giveaways as well. So they're a great company, those guys. I really dig them. So maybe they'll want to do another one soon too. So what's my thoughts on Mick Taylor? You know what? I don't really know enough of his music, to be honest. That might shock a lot of people, but Sennheisers are good, yeah, absolutely. AKG, yeah, well, there's another great one. AKG makes some great headphones. They make studio grade ones as well. So does Sennheiser, but you start paying some big bucks for, you know, in Australia at least, entry level AKGs, which aren't Bluetooth, just straight in. Not that you need Bluetooth, but it's handy sometimes. 150, 160 bucks minimum. So, you know what? Jan just mentioned Audio Technica. The best headphones I ever had. Oh, actually, they weren't Audio Technica. I was about to say they were, but they're not. This is an Audio Technica mic. Were Technics headphones, made in Japan. DJ 1200. I had them for 12 years. They just kept on going. They're the best headphones I've ever had. But I like the Bluetooth thing, and the reason why is if you're out of the house, you don't have a cable swinging around. If you need to move your arms, you're not going to knock them off your head. I used to do that a lot. Try some Philips headphones. Basically, they sound like $600 ones. Wow, cool. Isaac says, you arrived to a gig with a 412 cab, 50 watt amp, and a huge pedal board and 3 guitars. Another guy shows up with 1 hollow stick. Turn it down. How does an Italian get named Shane? Oh, well, I was born here. I mean, only one of my parents is Italian, but they were born here too. So, you know, you don't end up with an Italian name when your family were all born here. All right, so I had a Kalen Blue Ocean delay. What do you think about that? I think they're great. The giveaway that I had for the zombie poster, which is over here, Not that one, but the older one with the axe in the head. That's the pedal I gave out to, I'm going to say Jeff. It was, so Jeff won that. Alright, Oxygen says, because of your videos back in June, I bought the Fender Blues Deluxe reissue, and then I also built a Strat with Fat 50s. Honestly, couldn't be happier with the amp. Awesome, cool stuff. I tell you what, if you ever find playing live that those speakers are too bottom heavy or too top heavy, put anything else in there and you'll love it. A friend of mine used to have what was it, Creamback in his. He's tried all the speakers. Creambacks work really well, except you're going to have the amp on 0 on bass, but otherwise, yeah, any other speaker you put in there will even improve the sound. I had a chance to, I purchased this Two-Rock Studio Pro 35 a couple of years ago. After I did the speaker upgrade in that, I got the amp home and I put it next to it, and the Swamp Thing and the Fender sounded better. That's just the way that works. But yeah, I'm glad you're loving it. That's awesome. See, Fat 50s, the reason I said that is because Fat 50 pickups can be awfully bright. I've owned a set of those as well. I found them maybe a little too sizzly for me, but you know, everyone likes different stuff, and that's great. It's funny, thinking about all the stuff that I've learned over the last sort of 5 years, doing lots of demos and dialing in tones and all that kind of stuff. I almost wonder whether or not I made the right decision selling a lot of things like pickups and pedals, because now the sound I have in my head is a lot easier to get, and I reckon I could almost dial it in with anything, but that's just food for thought. What's my opinion on the Fender Telecaster American versus Japanese? That's a good question. The new ones that I've seen are great. They kind of feel like old school Fender versus, you know, kind of like a polished version of the same guitar. Physically there's not a lot in it, but there's none of these extra weird pots or anything. You're getting a bare bones kind of Strat, very much like how the Mexican ones are. Like I've got one back here. The Japanese ones though have a better finish on the neck than these, and I love this. This is like a satin finish, but the ones that are on the new Japanese guitars look a bit like my 52, so they have that really refined look, but what am I trying to say? They're basically a bog standard guitar like this. Very, very similar. They're a lot lighter. One criticism people have had of them on comments, just from me posting about the video, about the guitars, I should say, is that the wood is easily dinted, or dented, whichever way you want to say it. But yeah, I don't know, I think they look great. Look, I'm going to get my hands on those pretty soon. If you're talking about the older guitars too, they're awesome. Save some money and just grab one if you can. Alright, Gas and Bullets, how are you, man? Alright, so Cyclone says, I like your name too, with the clon spelling there. I love your channel, dude. Love from Spain, literally on the other side of the world. Thanks for tuning in, I appreciate that. One day I want to get motivated and actually translate some of my videos to other languages, but I'm going to need some help. But yeah. Have I ever tried the Pelican Noiseworks pedal? No. I don't think I have. Do I follow the Andertons guys? Not anymore. I used to be subscribed to them, but I kind of get geared out as well, even though just because I'm around it a lot. There was another reason I stopped following them. I really didn't feel like a couple of their videos were very, what's the word, honest. But they're entertaining, they're good dudes. I think, you know, their video, they've done extremely well for themselves, and good on them. But yeah, I do watch some of their videos, like sometimes in suggestions something will pop up, and I really like Danish Pete. I think he's a fantastic player. Dude can play like nobody's business. I like Rabia as well. I've actually subscribed to his channel. But in terms of just the shop ones, I don't really follow them. I'll watch them if something pops up in the feed and I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in this. Like if they're doing, say, the John Mayer shootout amplifier one like they did recently, I'll watch that. But I'll generally watch the ones that have Rabia or Danish Pete, because Danish Pete's man, he can play. He's, he's like 60 years old almost. It's insane. All right. Mojo Penguin says, hey man, here's an idea for new videos. You should make a series on strictly Aussie gear like Mayton. I like that idea. You know what? Now that actually is possible because I have access to that stuff. I need more access to right-handed players though. No. I can probably do something like that, so let me see how we go. I like that idea. Thank you. I'll actually just jot that down now because I think that's really good. All right, cool. So I have access to a lot of local acoustic builders and electric guitars as well. I've done a lot of Australian pedal demos over the years, but nothing probably in the last 2 years or 3 years. There's just not a lot of guys. Man, my nose is really itchy. There's just not a lot of Australian guys that send me stuff, really, that they're either not up with sort of how YouTube will give them, free promo basically, or they're not interested. But the ones that are, I've worked with before, like Desertronics is really good. In terms of the Australian guys, I think his stuff's pretty much the best pedals made locally here, or some of the best anyway that I can think of off the top of my head. Todd Flower says, hey, watch on the age thing. Oh, no, that was a compliment. I thought he was in his maybe early 40s, so I didn't think he was that much older than me. And I think someone said he's like 57 or something like that. Not that that's old, but he looks way younger than he actually is, unless he was lying. But yeah. What's the differences between the Mexican and American tele? What are the things that I should upgrade if I buy the Mexican one? It's true that all Mexican ones don't have rolled fret edges. Wow. Okay, so I think Tuesday coming up, I actually have a comparison shootout video between a Mexican tele, a US tele, and a custom shop tele. And you can judge for yourself what you think of the sound of all of them. And this is how I'm going to give it away right now for you so you can save some time. But in terms of feel, I don't necessarily think like the Mexican guitars feel any different to the American ones. And I've had American Strats, or the new series ones at the house as well. I've got a lot of videos I need to edit. I'm running out of hard drive space, but essentially the difference is in the sound and just some of the hardware. One guy pointed out at the Mexican tele that I demoed, obviously this is a Strat, but usually they have a line down the middle where the wood's joined. This one had a line here, and he said it did his OCD in because it was off-centered. In terms of feel, how they play, I couldn't notice any difference. Custom shop one felt the best, but in terms of tone, if you were going to replace anything, you'd probably just want to do the pickups. In terms of the fret edges were fine. I haven't heard that before. Whether or not they're exactly the same is another thing, but this is a Mexican Strat. I've never felt like the fret edges were sharp or anything like that. So you wouldn't need to have that fixed. Like I always say, play a guitar before you buy a guitar. Don't just order it online without having played one. The other difference is weight. I keep picking this up like it's a tele, but it's not. The Mexican tele is pretty heavy on the most part. Look, they could vary here and there, but it's a heavy guitar, and I'm not sure how much of a difference there was between that and the American one that I tested, but from memory at least, the Mexican one was pretty heavy. But then again, my 52 weighs a metric ton. They're basically the tone thing, to put it into what I hear between them, is clarity. Top of the line has the most clarity and a little less bass. The middle one is kind of right in the center. The Mexican one has a little too much low end. It could be tweaked, possibly from just pickup adjustment height and all that kind of stuff. But generally, I found they didn't have enough tops, and they were more bottom heavy pickups. The American ones were kind of pretty well balanced, and then the custom shop ones sounded by far the best. So what you could do is just get a set of Texas Special pickups, chuck them in the tally, and be done. They make or no-caster pickups or something. Chuck them in, it'll sound great. One Fat Cat Strat says Mexican tallies sound more spicy. Luke says Mexican guitars are more bluesy. Cool. Dunsfold Dave says, just got up here in the UK, what's happening in the cricket? Not checked yet. I haven't looked. I'm not a huge cricket fan. The cricket does this to me. I put it on and then I nod off. It's the cure for insomnia for me. No. Oh man, I can't stand unevenly joined Les Paul flame tops. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I did a shootout. Someone just mentioned about the Alnico pickups, and I'm sure that would have a huge impact on the sound. So to put it in context, I did a shootout between this, the Squier, American Standard, and American Pro. No custom shop in that one though. And this particular guitar has different pickups to the rest. I think, yeah, they could be ceramic maybe, and it sounded completely different. This was like the odd one out. It was way louder, but it had less tops clean. But it sounded way better with dirt. But yeah, all those vids are coming up. I need to really start spending a few days just energy drinks and editing time. I'll tell you what, the thing that surprised me the most recently was the Squier Standard Strat. Bog Standard. It's the one with the Gold Series logo. So it's got Squier in gold up here. Tone is unbelievable. Like, seriously good. Those whatever pickups are in there, it played well. I needed a little bit of an adjustment, but overall it played really well. It sounded amazing. It sounded really good. I did a live stream on Facebook where I just played a backing tracks. I do that there because of the copyright thing. It's you can kind of get away with it. I don't do that on YouTube, but yeah, and everyone's like, man, that sounds great. Like. It did. It sounded really, really good. So the question is, how different are those bog standard Gold Series Squiers to the classic vibes? And that would be a really good test, because I know Pixie's done a really great Squier shootout at one point. I don't think he had classic vibes in there though, but I could be wrong. But the Gold Series Squiers, I've owned one. That was my first electric guitar. Back in the day, I upgraded the pickups to Texas Specials. That was the first mod I ever... Well, I didn't do it, but I had it modded. I wish I had kept that guitar, man. It was so good. But, you know, as you upgrade and do things, you move other stuff on. But, yeah, I'm going to definitely have... That shootout should be interesting, at least. And I didn't do a blind test either. I just thought I'll just shoot it as per normal and see how we go. I believe in 2009 onward, all Mexican tallies and strats have had hand-rolled edges. Oh, there we go. That's why I didn't notice any difference. I mean, this is great. I've got custom frets in my tally, so that wouldn't be a good judge of comparison. But anyway, what do I think of the Fender Bass Breaker? Generally, not a lot. I wanted to really love the 15. Nearly every one of them I've tried or I've come across, whether it's the larger amps or the smaller ones, have either had really faulty rattle, like tubes in there, so you get this oscillation or really bad rattle, or they hiss extremely badly. I wouldn't buy one. You know what? I actually saw one of their 212s, and one of the speakers had fallen off the actual box into the amp. And it sounded crap. I'm like, why does this sound so bad? And we're like looking at the back. I'm like, oh yeah, one of the speakers isn't actually attached. It's fallen off. And my friend and I left pretty quickly after that. I really wanted to buy the 15. I thought I was completely sold on it. Went down, checked it out, and it sounded good, but you know, that white noise hiss thing would drive me nuts. And just having to replace the valves already. And after I saw the other one with the faulty speaker, or the speaker that had fallen off the box, I thought to myself, nah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm just not going to risk it. Do I like the Texas Specials? I think they sound good. Strat pickups are great. I've never owned them in a tally. I think coming up next year, I'm going to get another Telecaster, and use it just for pickups. That's it. So I might go through and get, you know, most of the Fender ones at some, you know, over the course of the year. Some custom ones as well, maybe, and just use that guitar for basically changing pickups and seeing how they all sound and compare. I think that would be pretty useful. I try not to double up on stuff, but I think if I'm gonna get another guitar, it'll be something that I can mod and just use just for videos like that. So yeah. Can you review a right-handed guitar just for laughs? Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of right-handed guitars coming up on the channel. Don't worry about it. There's plenty. The other thing I forgot to mention earlier is I've still got about 30 left-handed videos coming up from Jerry's over the next couple of months. So there's 1960s Martin guitars, 1940s cowboy acoustic guitars, 1960s Gibsons, Gretschers from that era as well, 1970s Mustangs and Strats, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So there'll be probably proportionally more guitar demos than pedals, even though you've seen all these pedals right now. I think the guitars will kind of outweigh that, and all of Rick's right-handed guitars are going to be on the channel, and I'm going to see how much I can talk Ryan into maybe bringing a few of his over as well. Isaac says, come on Shane, time for redemption. Do you like the rugby league? I prefer probably watching that over AFL. I'm not a big AFL fan. Australian rules football for those overseas. My dad used to play professionally years ago, and my family are obsessed with it. I think that's why I preferred basketball. I know I'm weird. But yeah, rugby is a good game. If I don't go out of my way to watch much TV these days because I'm always doing stuff, editing or watching YouTube or something like that. So, but I don't mind it. I don't know enough. I mean, I know the rules and all that kind of stuff, but I don't watch it much. But when it's on, say I'm sitting there watching a band and it's on the TV, I'll be like, oh yeah, cool. But yeah, cricket. I can't stand cricket. Not that it's a bad sport, but it goes for 5 days or 6 days. Like, why should a game go for so long? Those one-day things are okay. The 12-hour matches are all right. Best Strat ever, 96 Korea Protone. Okay. I don't know that one. So Volker says, recently got a Classic 550 Strat, so happy with it. They're great. There's a shop down the road that has one. And in a lefty as well. And it looks like my old guitar that I sold years ago, the Deluxe. What was it? What was that called? The anniversary edition one? 100th anniversary or whatever it was? No, 50th anniversary edition. Anyway, yeah, it's that two-tone sunburst thing, and yeah, it looks great. So that might even be a decent guitar just for doing mods too. I'll see if they can get it in at the shop that let me borrow stuff. I get it a whole lot cheaper. Have I ever done a kit build? Not on guitars, but I built pedals before. It's pretty tough. But yeah, look, I wouldn't mind trying a kit build at some point. It won't be this year now. It'll probably be maybe sometime in Jan or Feb. I might give it a go. I got way too much stuff piled up now to get through it in any sort of decent time frame now. So yeah, I might try that maybe Jan or Feb. You have the best team. Oh, Melbourne Storm. Yeah. All right, can I recommend a good 15 watt or lower tube amp? Yeah, Princeton's pretty cool. Look, it depends what you want. When you say good, I mean good for what type of music? That would be my question. What sort of stuff are you playing? If you're playing blues, Princeton's great. I even like my Bugera V5. It's 5 watts and it's got a switch down to 1 or 0.1 watts. And it's so loud. Like 5 watts for home is plenty when you're talking about a tube amp. 15 watts Blues Junior, for example, is, well, I'm going to say almost too loud to play at home to get dialing that sound unless you live in a house. If you've got neighbors and that around you, it's going to be way too loud. Do you ever find yourself needing a break from guitar editing production? If so, what takes your mind off it? Absolutely. It's not uncommon for me to do a lot in a day, so I'll shoot 4 or 5 videos some days, not all the time, but yesterday I shot 4 videos. And then, like today, I went to the gym. I go down the beach, I went for a swim yesterday and the day before. So I don't mind, I'll even do road trips where I'll just, that's probably not the right word, but I'll take 2 hours and just go for a drive when there's no traffic. I play live as well, that's another thing that I really enjoy. I love horror movies and all that kind of stuff, so I try to still make time for stuff that I like. I know there's videos going up every day, but like I said, I'll film 4 videos, like tomorrow I'll probably film all the small pedals. And then the day after that I'll try and, or depending on how motivated I am, I'll either try and start editing them that day or at least organize all the files. And then I'll have them scheduled for the next 4 weeks because there's 4 on the floor. That's the way that'll work. So I try to keep pretty balanced these days now that I'm not, I'm working for myself essentially doing this, and I'm not confined to like specific hours. I did that recently though. I did work in the city recently, back at my old job, just covering for a guy who broke his knee, who I employed. But yeah, like that was tough because I was still doing YouTube, working and having no time. I couldn't really do both anymore. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, now that if I get ahead of my schedule, which is daily, so I essentially just need to have a day in lieu most of the time, or a video waiting to get uploaded, then I'll go do something else. I do spend a big chunk of my day working on this, like 8 to 10 hours a day easily. But there's days where I'll just turn it all off. I don't even check comments or whatever. And I had one of those days, what day was it? Sunday? I think I didn't touch any of it. And I'll probably do the same thing this weekend as well. I've got to do some, well, actually I'm doing some photography for a friend, but it means I'm sort of doing something else, so. I think we need to call you One Take Shane. Yeah, well that's the thing, some days you play better than others as well, and other days you speak better than others. I don't know what it is, I get like, not anxiety or whatever, but there's some days where I can't deliver a sentence in any sort of coherent way. And it's usually because I'm really tired. It's usually the Monday, because I'm out late Sunday. I start filming Monday, and Monday is a mess. I should just not film on a Monday. And then there's other days where I play well up to my standards, and I do very little cuts through the videos. And then there's other times where it just depends if I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, and if everything's going to plan, I can get through a video pretty quick. But you don't always play well, and sometimes I want to try and do something different at the start of a video or somewhere in there, just something a little different. So I'll work something out on the spot, and that might take me 10 minutes just of noodling around to work it out. So yeah, it's one of those things. Guys like Rick, Rick, my friend, he's got a photographic memory, he's a heck of a guitar player. He can gets his demo, he can do demos one take most of the time. Because he can play and recall so much great stuff. Is there a good 5-watt tube amp that can reproduce a constantly clean sound, or are you always going to break up a bit because of the lack of headroom? Yeah, generally they're not going to stay clean. 5 watts isn't enough. You buy a 5-watt amp because it doesn't stay clean. The lowest you probably want to go in a... Look, there's a couple of amps that have a dedicated clean channel, like there's a Marshall that has a dedicated clean, I think, or it used, maybe. But yeah, look, it's just not enough. 5 watts isn't enough. That 5-watt amp that I got, the Bugera, doesn't have a clean channel. It's got a gain control and a volume control as one channel. You can get a clean sound out of it, but it's not a very loud clean. You just dial up the gain, it sounds awesome. All right. If you do a build, if you do a kit build, do a Kiesel/Carvin. They make lefties. Cool. All right. Yeah, they look like they got some good stuff. I've never played one or picked one up, but they look pretty cool. All right, looking back on the year, do you wish you did anything about your channel differently? It seemed like you had a good run of success this year. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's always the way. I think anyone who doesn't feel like that is I don't know if I took enough chances early on in the year. The things that helped my channel grow the most were videos that, oh, this is it for me. Like this is what changed my channel, especially the last couple of months, was understanding YouTube, understanding where my strengths are on YouTube, trying to do something different for my audience and compared to what... See, I always prided myself on either being the first to do stuff like on YouTube or something in the guitar niche that was different. But then a lot of other people were doing the same sort of stuff, so I didn't really have a point of difference. So looking through my analytics, which is just stats and graphs and all that kind of stuff, the back end of YouTube's amazing. I really thought to myself, like, what are my strengths here? And it seems to be like the videos that have always done really well for me were the podcast videos. So I started doing videos kind of like the podcast videos that weren't, it wasn't a podcast, like the Gibson guitars at Walmart and the top five things about guitars that have horrible resale value and all that kind of stuff. I've been making top 5 lists for like 10 years. You can go back and find like top 10 overdrive pedals, all that sort of stuff. So that was nothing new, but the actual video content held people's retention rate really well. So I'm starting to work out again, like, all right, so the gear is one thing that I can do, and gear overload, same thing. I still feel like once I'm done with December, I won't be doing as many pedal reviews anymore. Like this will be it for, for a while. Or I'll tailor it back to one a week. But my strength isn't necessarily my demos, which I kind of felt like it was, but it wasn't. So it's the other content that I do that seems to do really well. So it took me a while to work that out, and then it took me a while to understand what YouTube, how the algorithm works. And I've tested this with smaller channels like Agufish and a few of the others, and I said to him, like, try this and see how this works. I'm confident your next video will do well, and it did. And he got 400 subscribers a day for weeks. I'm not saying I was responsible for that. It was still up to him to make great content, but there was a plan of action, which was something I never really had. It was a bit of this. I had a schedule, but it wasn't really anything. Wasn't anything that was probably going to help itself grow. It was just like bit of this, bit of that. So there's a couple of things that will work really well, and once a month you'll see different content for a week. And then same with the next month, and I guarantee that particular week of content will outdo all of the videos, and it'll be way more interesting. I'll just go leave it at that, because I've got a lot of good content like those videos. Look, some of them weren't great, but the majority of the ones that got 100,000 views in a week were actually really good. Like, I put a lot of time and effort and thought into those. I had notes and all that on my computer. They're the kind of videos that I think people get a bit more of a kick out of, from me at least. Like, I think one of my strengths is knowledge about certain stuff, and I might not have worked that as much as what I probably could have, or I didn't put enough time and effort into it. So yeah, anyway, that's the long answer. So yeah, there's always stuff that I think I should have done. I've declined a lot of gear this year. I should have just accepted it and told them it'll be up in the next 5 to 6 months. So anyway, that's the long thing. So now I'm just saying yes to stuff again, and I tell them, look, I'll get round to this. It'll slot into my schedule at some point. But anyway, cool. Any thoughts on the Marshall valve state amps? You know what? They get a lot of hate online. A mate of mine's actually got one of the valve state. I think it's a 40 watt or a 60 watt or something like that. It actually sounds fine. I didn't even know it was a solid state amp. Now I know they make some like really bad ones with a silver faceplate. It's like MGX or something like that. Stay away from those. But in terms of the ones that actually look like a proper Marshall, I don't think they're that bad. I really don't think they're that bad. It's a good question. I'll take this one and then might wrap it up pretty soon. But actually, there's a few here. Lincoln, thanks man. Welcome to the stream. Matthew was here, says, congrats on 75K. Have you been in New Zealand lately? Is there a blues scene there? No, I haven't. I haven't been there for, I don't know, my last stopover, which was probably a while ago. That's one place I really want to see more of. I think it looks great, and there's a lot of good music there. I mean, New Zealanders, man, they're awesome musicians. Watchman, how are you, man? G650 Thunderbird, howdy, mate. Sleep is calling. Catch you later, Quinton. Thanks for hanging around. Appreciate that. Sonia says, please thumbs up the stream. Thanks for that, Sonia. Absolutely. Please give the thumbs up if you can. I appreciate that. And yeah, they all carry through to when the stream's cached on YouTube. Or if you don't enjoy it, that's fine. I don't know where you're watching. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, VS Audio, we were talking about you earlier. I showed off your little purple pedal of Doom, a little fuzzbox one. So I started filming that and I cut my finger open. And I'm waiting for that not to... playing with a band-aid on my ring finger isn't a good thing. So yeah, I'll get the video up pretty soon. So for those who have just joined, I know there's a lot of people here. There's going to be a video a day until the end of the year. That's the plan. So fingers crossed. If I start filming and I'm like falling asleep, I'll stop. But odds are I think I've got enough stuff here and video content and different things coming up on the channel as well as a podcast, which is finally planned and ready to go. I want to do a podcast with Nick in the States as well at some point. We're going to start doing that together. I think he's a really great personality. And yeah, he knows a lot about sort of like the inexpensive side of music stuff, and I know a bit more about the middle to regular sort of stuff as well. So that should be fun. That should be fun. Hey, Dylan, thanks, man. Keep up the good work, he says. Thanks, appreciate that. Thanks for the tip there, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Isaac says, we have a feud with New Zealand over Crowded House. Yeah, there's a few bands like that, actually, that we've stolen and claimed as our own. Alright, so just saw a PV Classic 50 head for sale in a store here. What do you think about the clean sounds? I think their cleans are fine. They got the EL84 vibe. EL84? Yeah, EL84 vibe. So they're more sparkly, kind of like a Vox. They got a bit more chime. But well, this is going off the actual 50 combo. I haven't tried the head, but I'm guessing you could just pair it with whatever speaker you like and kind of get the sound you're after that way as well. But I think overall the Classic series of amps are pretty good. The 50 combo isn't as loud as I thought it was going to be in a live situation, but they're generally plenty loud for most bands and all that kind of stuff. Should be fun. Ryan says, great live stream. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that, man. Master JCM 800 versus Jubilee. Which would I prefer? You know what? I don't know. That's the short answer. Rick and I were talking about this the other day, that I'm a total noob when it comes to Marshall amps. I just don't know enough about them. The great thing is, I'll tell you what, when I go to the store again, I might stream their amp room. I'll take a video and post it up or something. They got wall-to-wall Marshalls, stacks and heads and JCM, what are they called? DSL 40s and all that stuff. So I need to get my knowledge and experience up with those amps, so I'll see what I can borrow. Excuse me. I'm just trying to read this question here. C1s and C4s. I don't know, though. Studio Project. Oh, hang on. Studio Project C1 and C4s. They were sued by Neumann for making clones of their flagship mic, about $350. Wow. Okay. There's a couple of mics out there like that. There's a MXR, I think, mic, which is basically a copy of a much more expensive microphone. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this mic was one of the ones I got cheap. I'm going to do a couple more mic demos coming up of how they sound in a couple of different situations as well. I kind of like doing those. I've got so many microphones here. When I had my studio, I've kept a lot of the mics. I've almost got, I'm not going to say I got more mics than pedals, that's not true. But I got at least 15 mics that I think people might be interested in. And yeah, we'll see how they go. I might even do a video on how to mic up a cab properly. I get a lot of people saying, what mic am I using for this and that? and it really doesn't matter. Once you know how to pull a good sound, you can use a 57, an M3, a Rode NT1, or this. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. But yeah, in terms of the Marshall amps, just looking at the questions and comments here, they're coming up. They're coming up. I think the plan for me now is to get through all of this stuff I showed you at the start of the stream, and if you've just joined me, you can scroll back later and check it out. But once I'm done with all of that, I'll grab, maybe it might be easier for me to do videos there. I don't know, I'll grab like 5 or 6 amp heads or something and bring them back. Don't look at Marshalls, you'll want one. Well, so many people have told me that the DSL 40C is like one of the best blues amps ever. And one of the local cash converters here, where I've done some Guitar Search Saturdays before, had one. And I went back and it was gone. It was in mint condition, made in England. I've played the Indonesian made one and I wasn't overly blown away by it. It was nice, but it still feels like an amp that you need a pedal to get a really great sound out of. So I need to find some Marshall amps that really just make me go, wow, check this out. And I know Rick and Brian have both owned them in the past, so I'm hoping I can maybe wrangle those guys into doing some playing on those videos too, because they rock. Greg, man, this is awesome. So he says, my King of Tone has finally shipped after a year and a half. Have I ever played one? Yeah, I have. They're fine. They're really great pedals. I think I had it second, possibly on my top 10 pedals about 5 years ago. I don't know if it would still be in my top 3 or 4 now, but you know, in terms of dual pedals, they would absolutely be up there. I love my Royal Flush from VS Audio. I know he's here. I'm not just saying that because of that. I've got 2 of them, and my board is right on the floor. And this is what it looks like. So yeah, there it is, second from the end. So the King of Tone is probably pretty comparable in terms of functionality and usability as something like that. So they're a really great pedal. I don't know if they're worth waiting a year and a half for. That's insane, but I don't think you'll be too disappointed. There's no doubt about it. Panos says you should check the 2061 20 watt head. It's absolutely amazing. Cool. Like I said, I don't know enough about Marshalls, so I'll take that. I'll jot that down. DSL 40Cs are discontinued. Well, they kind of were like 3 years ago, I think, but they're now made in Indonesia. I've seen them all in shops here, so they must be being remade. I could only afford a Prince of Tone. A pedal like that is something that you're going to keep for a long time. It really is. Like, whether or not you're buying... That's the good thing about the boutique pedals. Like, tonally, maybe some of them aren't that dissimilar from... Well, the cheaper pedals aren't that dissimilar sometimes in terms of tone, but they're built great, some of these boutique pedals. King of Tone will be a pedal that will be great for a long time, much like the Klon was. Or is, I should say. Hey Ben, how are you, man? Thanks for joining in. Musician's Friend had a Sterling Audio small diaphragm condenser, $100 50 mics on sale for $29. Wow. I used to go through these like microphone phases where, yeah, I'd just be looking for them for the sake of looking for them. And then I'd end up with 2 or 3 Rode microphones that I don't use anymore. It's insane. I'm like, if I love a microphone, I get a second one because I'm like, I might need a second one. And this isn't recently. This is more so like about 10 years ago or 12 years ago this started, where I'd continually get mics. A lot of the mics you see today on my channel I've had for a long time, except for this one which came free with the amp. But when I started upping my YouTube production, I'd get one like shotgun mic, and then I'm like, oh, what if someone comes over? I'll need a second one. And then I don't even use them anymore. Like, so they're sitting there doing nothing. There's a time and a place for all these mics. Mics are a bit like pedals. They're addictive. Alright, so Ben says, do you ever have troubles with recording audio not syncing and drifting about with the sync from your videos? And if so, how do you deal with it? I'm struggling with recording 24-bit and recording at 24 frames per second. So depending on where you live, 24 frames is the cinema standard, not the regular standard. So you probably want to shoot 25 frames per second. See if that helps. But the clock should be, yeah, okay, so what I do now that I'm on a Mac, which was something that you could kind of do with Sony Vegas, but it sucked, you can actually just physically sync everything. So every time I shoot a video, I wrap the strings 5 times, so the microphones hear it on my shirt and everything. I select all my files, right click, sync, bang, done. Now, this is going to get nerdy, so you can look into this if it's confusing. But so there's a couple of different things about SD cards that you need to know as well, and cameras. Some cameras will have a 4 GB MP4 recording size limit. So every 4 gig or 4.02 gig, it's going to split the file and start recording a new one. The problem with some sync is you could lose a millisecond in there. So if you're talking, you'll hear a click, because if you join those 2 files together, you're going to hear an audible click or pop, something in the sound, which means something's not right? Because it split the file while you're talking or while you're playing or whatever, and that doesn't quite match, and you're going to lose a millisecond there. So if the project's large and you've got it's a long project and you've got four of these splits, you might be having that problem. Now there's a way to get around that. If you format, you can get a SanDisk Extreme Pro SD card. That's what I use on all my videos now. Or I use the standard Pro and I format them to exFAT. And luckily, my cameras, I got a couple of Sony cameras and a Panasonic, they all allow larger recording times than 4 gig, right? A lot of cameras still don't do that. So you need to find out whether or not that's going to work. So if you've got a really fast SD card now, you can try formatting it as exFAT, putting it in the camera and just let it run and see if that helps. Syncing can be a pain. If you're using Sony Vegas, it's awful because it doesn't have the magnetic timeline that Final Cut has. Anyway, yeah, so there could be a few things stopping it, but I would look at changing the frame rate. Sounds a bit odd. I'm used to 25 frames. It could just be that I'm using PAL cameras and you might be on NTSC. That could be part of it, but 24 is like something in menus on a camera that you go to if you want a cinema type frame rate, which is a little bit weird unless you've got a red weapon or something. Alright, I just found a tele neck from China for 34 bucks. I'm sure that is amazing. That's pretty cool. Hey man, how can I spice up my slow blues? Got minor pentatonic, even mixing in major, but I can't seem to play the same licks in every key. There's a real easy way of fixing that, man. So, let's see if we can do a quick thing here. I've just got to find my power supply, which I moved to somewhere. Now I can't find it. There it is. I don't know where my pick is, but that's not on. Oh, come on, really? So the best way to practice in every key is to practice in every key. Just play this. But play a lick that's less irritating than that and just literally practice it in every key. That's what I would do. And that's what I used to do. When I first started working out those Stevie Ray riffs that I need a pick for, that I don't probably play that much these days. Where's the pick when you need one, huh? No, well, I'll butcher it without it, but it's literally like, I'd literally just play over every type of blues I could find and just try to make that fit. So slow it down, speed it up, and that's all you've got to do. That's how you get it to fit. It's not so much playing the lick at the same tempo on every song, it's making the timing of it fit the actual rhythmic quality of the song. So just don't play one lick over everything the same way, it's not going to work. Hey Nick, how are you, man? I need to be nerdy, thanks so much, appreciate it, you're a legend, it's been driving me nuts. Hey, no worries, man. Yeah, the sync thing can be problematic for a couple of reasons, but generally it's usually if you're joining files together. And the way I combat that, if it still happens to me today, if I've got, say, 3 cameras and one doesn't have that particular format where it records for the full duration, I will manually then open or the actual project as wide as I can and just move it a fraction, and I'll move the audio just to match it after the break. That's it. It's a pain. The reason I've gone for the cameras I've got now for doing all of this stuff is because they don't have that file problem. Next time I go to Jerry's, I'll have all cameras that will only record one big file per guitar, and that will be so much easier. You know, the file organization's a real big pain sometimes. Alright, worst lick ever? Oh yeah, man, I can play that all day. You like that one? Also, just put a treble bleed in here. That's one thing I've been working on, is my rhythm hand, trying to get that thing going, and I want to get that just fluid at some point coming up. I can play it like, well, maybe 2 out of 5 times. Where's the pick when you need one? Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm in my freaking guitar room and I can't find one anywhere. That's hilarious. Shane, what's your view on a clean channel volume levels? You might need to be a little more specific with your question. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. In the context of a live mix, a clean channel will cut through a whole lot more, this is a band situation, than a dirty channel does. Just find an amp like a PV Bandit, turn up the clean channel to 10 and then turn up the drive channel to 10, and you'll find that the clean channels melt in your face. So that's one of those things where I see this mistake a lot. Even friends I've got, not Brian or Rick and those guys, but other guys I know, they have this clean rhythm tone and it's up here volume wise, and they solo and it drops. I'm like, dude, it's got to be the other way around. Like clean tone is always generally way louder than a dirty tone. It sticks out of the mix like you wouldn't believe. A pedal on a clean tone is a different situation, but if you're just talking about straight drive channel versus clean tone, that's what I reckon. Get down with your bad self. I like this middle combination, it's great. I don't miss the Joe Bardens, man. Woo! Alright, treble bleeds, I bought one from you. I've done one for my guitar. Yeah, man, Emerson ones are great. When I shut down the shop, well, essentially stopped, what was it, about a year ago, I just stopped getting stuff. I kept all that stuff, kept all the pots, I kept like the last 2 or 3 treble bleeds. I gave one to my friend, and I had 2 left, and I put one in here, and it is great. So, yeah. The custom shop guitars all had them, and my Little Crows have them as well, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try a treble bleed on this. Alright, so Ben says, speaking of Ryan, is he a tall man? He looked like a giant next to you on Mondays. Yeah, he's tall. And I'm not that tall, right? But the thing was, at the end of the 3rd video we did together, I said to him, there's something not right with the way we're sitting. I essentially was going to sit on the side I normally sit on, so his chair is actually about this much higher than mine as well. Not to say that I'm not short, right? But we don't usually look that awkward because I sit on the taller one, he's got the smaller one. It can kind of balance out the shot. I didn't do that. He actually had the tall one, so his head was like up here and I'm like down here somewhere. New channel in the funk. Well, that's where the name came from, actually, believe it or not. My friend of mine's was in a band. It was called Interfunk, like TA Funk. It was a Melbourne funk band for years. And when I started a trio with that drummer, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to call the band. And he goes, oh, how about Interblues, like TA Blues? And I went, oh, it's a bit weird. So in the blues kind of worked. I thought, hey, that's how that started. So bit of dumb luck there, but yeah. All right, VS Audio, thanks for hanging around, man. Appreciate that. Catch you soon. And yeah, I'll test out I'll do a demo of your fuzz pedal coming up. Am I still on the lookout for a Lefty Casino? I've had a few people send me messages about that, which is awesome. But the thing is, I want to find one locally, or I might have to pick one up when I'm traveling somewhere. The sites thing's a huge pain in the butt. Some of the companies, or not companies, but some of the shops I did Guitar Search Saturdays at actually sent me messages and said, oh, we can get you one of them, don't worry about it. I'm like, yeah, but how are you going to get it over here? Like, it's going to cost me an extra however much and be a huge pain for them. So they all went, oh yeah, forgot about that. So one day I'll find one and I'll get it. There's been a couple that have turned up, but there was one in Japan actually that looked awesome, and I messaged the company about it. They were just a reseller of guitars or something, and it had a bit of fretwear, and I thought, I don't really want to risk it on a guitar I haven't played. And it wasn't like, oh, that's the price, let's do it. It was at a price that didn't really motivate me. So I'll find one. Isaac says, the way you talk made me feel self-conscious on being 5'8". I think I'm somewhere around that height. Ryan's about 6'2", I think, so he's quite a bit taller. Maybe, is he 6'2"? Yeah, he'd be close to 6'2". So Rick and Ryan, man, I don't know where they got their Asian genetics from, but they're the two tallest dudes I know. It's crazy, man. Ryan just like, oh yeah, there he is. Every time I see Ryan, I don't see him for a few weeks, he rocks up, I'm like, man, you're tall? Like, what happened? So yeah. Yeah, the chairs were messed up. So the one that my laptop's sitting on here is the one that I should have been sitting on, but he had that. And I was sitting on a drum stool, which is quite a bit lower than it. Yeah, its maximum height isn't very good. I only realized once we got going, and then I just thought, it doesn't matter. It might look kind of funny on... Do I ever use loop pedals for practice much? Sometimes. I usually use them if I've come up with a song idea and I think to myself, how would that sound with layers? If I'm with some intention of writing a song, or if I come up with a chord progression I like, I'll generally throw down a loop and just play over it. And if it feels like it's going somewhere, that'll be a song I end up recording. It's always been the way. Very few loop jams I do. In that situation, I throw away ideas, and what I also get in the habit of is just recording it on my phone or whatever, just so I've got something to reference later. I know some of those save, but you know, it's just easier to record it on your phone. Ben says, I have two uncles that are 6'9", and my dad and I are 5'9". My brother's way taller than me too, so that's just one of those things. All right, well, I'm sweating it up in this room. I'll tell you what, my door's closed and my fan's blowing air onto a door, so I'm going to open up everything here and get moving. But hey, thanks so much for hanging out, everyone. It's been awesome. If you haven't already, please give the video the thumbs up if you choose to. Earlier tonight you said you changed out the neck pickup to more of a Strat type. Not sure why you would do that. So it's still a Tele pickup, but what that means is it's got a little bit more tops. You might find sometimes vintage neck pickups on Teles a little bit too they don't have enough treble. Not always, right? But sometimes they just don't. I wanted to make sure this particular pickup had more of a snap to the tone, you know, like it's not a Strat pickup. Look at it. So it's just Strat-y in terms of Strat's neck pickup will usually have that sort of, you know, they have something about them that the attack's great and all that. So that's kind of what I loved about that custom shop Relic one. The black one just had just the most unusual sounding neck pickup, and it was very different than anything I'd played before. So that's kind of what I was going for. That would be regarded as a Stratty neck pickup on a Tele, even though it's still a straight, you know, Tele pickup. So that it's more about the voicing terminology than actually getting a Strat pickup and putting it in the Telecaster. I might not have clarified that. So yeah, it's definitely not a Strat pickup. All right, guys, well, rock on. It's dinner time here, and I'm gonna get going. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. As I said, videos coming up every week. I got a Google Hangout one coming up, or a YouTube Hangout now they're called, coming up. Not this weekend, but the following one. So yeah, hang out for that as well. If you want to be on it, just shoot me an email at intheblues@outlook.com. Chat in person on there. Otherwise, that's about it. So yeah. Catch you soon. Thanks everyone for the donations too. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. It's not required either, but you know, it's always appreciated. I try to put things back into the channel to make it better. Gear, stuff I can find, do reviews on, all that kind of stuff. So that's where that goes. Resurrectionist says, "Where's the dual blade pickups?" You'll have to rewind it, man. They've been replaced. I had Severe Custom Shop single coil gas recently, and this was the best way to cure that. So, all right, guys, rock on. Take it easy. Thanks for hanging out for the last hour and a half or whatever it's been. It's been a while. 2 hours almost. Holy jeez. All right, well, I'll speak to you soon.